All right, guys. If you want to call in at Ryback here on X Spaces, guys, let's see what we got. Let's bring on Matthew here today. You guys try to keep it to one question if you got it, please. Matthew, welcome to the Ryback Show. I've got my sauna.
Man, good to hear. Actually, be on the show. Thank you for actually taking calls from listeners and viewers. That's a big thing for people in positions where you've been and others. So, respect to you, man, for reaching to the people.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. What's on your mind today?
Okay, so I am a whistleblower, and people sometimes call us conspiracy theorists, but I've been in the wrestling business for years. I've met many people over the years, Mark Calloway, Matt McMahon's, many people. I've never got to meet you, which was unfortunate, but I want to ask you, we're witnessing the optics. You guys covered it with the whole ship and everything, and we broke it down because there's a lot of symbology going on. Now they're claiming it's over a gas line. But when we go to the wrestling world, we talk about POGO, privately owned, government-operated businesses, which the WWE is one of the biggest privately owned, government-operated businesses out there. POGO is what we call them. And unfortunately, with Hollywood elites and certain things, it comes down to sex trafficking or things to that nature. I wanted to ask you kind of a touchy subject, but I wanted to get it from you. First off, I was been trying to get a hold of you the last few shows. Now that things have come to light with the McMahons and everything else, and again, Linda McMahon worked with the Trump administration, natural disaster relief, don't forget that, things to that nature. Do you have any thoughts on Bray Wyatt and Chris Benoit, the sacrifice optics per se? Because there are some very interesting optics to both deaths throughout the time, and many people have been digging, and this stuff does exist. A lot of you guys have been, oh my gosh, this happened. But when it comes to in your own house, so to speak, old school in your house, remember those pay-per-views? But my whole thing is the Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Bray Wyatt optics. When you deal with big elitish people into ritualistic nature, do you have any feelings on any of those now?
What can you share more insight into why you think that? Let's go with Chris and Bray. Like in particular, Bray. Why would you think that was a sacrifice? And can you shed more light on that?
So gematria is a huge thing with these elites and ritualistic things, kind of like the boat. For instance, with the ship, 33 was on the front of the ship, 33. We looked at the White Tiger, President Obama's produced video. That ship said White Tiger. Well, the actual ship was headed to Singapore, which was a White Tiger on the flag. So when we break down both Bray Wyatt's and mostly with Benoit and Chris Benoit, the numbers were very high. Bray Wyatt came out right before, so to speak, Vince McMahon going down. When we deal with these elites, kind of with the whole P. Diddy thing going on, things to that nature, like they said, there's a lot of people who it's not necessarily taking him down. Some of this stuff is probably being covered up, these raids to protect some of the higher elite. Bray Wyatt, I haven't dwelled too much into as versus Eddie and Chris Benoit, but his numbers did match up. And the fact that shortly after the whole Vince McMahon scandal came shortly is actually pretty big. When people with high powers like that become sacrificial goats of sorts, such as McMahon or others, things happen in ritualistic nature. And now I'm not saying, I just wanted to hear from your perspective, because the Eddie Guerrero and the Chris Benoit thing, oh man, the numbers, the date, the actual optics of the whole thing, we remember how weird that whole thing was. But with the Bray Wyatt thing, I haven't really fully looked into it. But when you see something like that happen, then shortly after the Vince McMahon...
Do you think that maybe you should fully look into it if you're going to make claims like that, though?
Well, I guess I'd say Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, because I can make those claims 100%.
Yeah. I think the Bray situation is the guy who probably got the COVID vaccine and then had complications from it and unfortunately passed away.
Right, and that I just, like I said, I would stick more to the Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero in my opinion. The Bray Wyatt was one of the, and you're right, the COVID, and they all got that. Like, do you think the McMahons, as well as producer, everything got the vax for the WWE? Like, did they tell them they had to do that?
Don't you remember during all of that was on that was being reported during all of that it was mandatory, and they were WWE was running pro-vaccine commercials with the superstars. Did you forget? Have you guys forgotten that?
Weren't they running the NXT or like the show?
They were running it on their main shows with the WWE superstars, promoting the vaccine to get the vaccine. That was one of the stories that it came out during all of that they wanted everyone having the vaccine. And I could tell you from somebody that I know there that they had to get it to go back.
Do you think there was special treatment for certain?
So I think everybody who's there, I would bet, and I don't know if Bray, and my guess is, and from everything, and is allegedly is probably got the vaccine to go back.
Man,
and that, but I'm not there, and I don't know if he had prior heart health. I was around him a lot. Never heard one thing that he ever had heart issues, and we did heart tests every year in WWE. All of us had to, and everybody there had to be in good health to be on the roster. So I don't know what changed from whatever period, other than the possibility of that. But I don't know if that's just that's my best guess of what probably happened with him, and it's unfortunate because he was everybody's fucking friend. So
okay. Well, I remember just 2-3 days ago, you sat here saying, well, man, it makes you think what these billionaires are up to. You hear all these stories. You said this on your podcast the other day, regards to Vince McMahon. And I try and tell people, I say, you also got to remember Linda McMahon was part of the Trump administration. A lot of people forget about that.
What does that mean, though? What does it mean that she was part of
powerful
the Trump
people?
administration?
Well, think of it again. There's a lot of disclosure going on with the world right now. We're in a systematic setup of a beast system. I call it NWO minus Hulk Hogan. That's what I call it. I say we're witnessing the NWO minus Hulk Hogan being systematically set up in the world. And when we have huge businesses, which again, the WWE is probably one of the biggest pogos that there is. Like, I mean, it's international. It was privately owned, but probably government operated. It had to be with television rights and things to that nature. These elitists do and are connected. And so when I say Linda McMahon worked with the Trump administration, and we all know Vince McMahon was very close to the Trump administration too. These optics, which we're witnessing not only with the physical stuff, like, the grid down, CERN's kicking back up their collider, April Waves talk, all this weird, stuff. My whole thing is when you get big elites like the McMahons and, and all of a sudden the sexual trafficking case and all this weird stuff happening, I personally, in my opinion, feel there's a little more to this than most understand on a deeper level. And so, I just kind of was curious what your thoughts on any of this were in a political view with the WWE, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna find out more as time comes on, and depending on what they're gonna let us find out. I think oftentimes wealthy people become friends with other wealthy people, and they have those connections, and I'm sure they have their reasons for that, but I don't know the depth of how far anything goes, and I certainly don't know how it could be connected to Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, or I don't know with that, and I haven't given it much thought on that, other than I just know that Vince has done a lot of bad things in his life. On that,
do some research. You should do some look into the.
I'm busy living my life on and it's I would rather just continue to build and be happy, and then rather than I believe it's going to come out enough, and it's all going to come to light anyways, that I don't need to sacrifice any of my time to do that.
I understand that. The next question I was going to ask you real quick is, what do you feel about the with The Rock coming in now? Dwayne Johnson, he's a holder on the board, obviously, things to that nature. Cody's story, everyone's like, is it going to finish? Is it not going to finish? And then now all of a sudden people are saying Roman Reigns seems to not be getting the attention. And I don't know if you like any of those guys or not on a personal
Love all
level,
of them. Yeah, they're all great
what
guys.
is your thoughts on that?
I mean, Roman's Roman. Roman is the champion with that. I think Rock is being highlighted for a reason with all of this, and we're going to have to wait and see what the story is going to be. But the whole point of all of this is to get people to talk. And I know I'd heard like Mark Henry on Busted Open had made a comment about The Rock is making everybody not look like, and I don't think that's the case. I think everybody's a superstar already. The Rock just happens to be one of the biggest stars in the world, and he's working with them. And depending on what way this goes, if they truly pay this off and let Cody win at WrestleMania, it's going to be amazing with it. But if not, it's going to be interesting to see where this develops. If the Cody never wins, or if it's going to be continued another time. If Roman's going to beat Hogan's record for the championship, there's the main thing is everybody's talking about it, and I think everybody is right now. It's great, all of it. There's no the Rock is a big star though. The Rock is a massive, larger than life human being, and he's physically he's like, and again, and this is I think the today's superstars are not as big as previous superstars, with most of them not using performance enhancing drugs outside of being on TRT or HRT, which is that will not change your physique too drastically on that alone with that. But today's superstars are just in general smaller than superstars of the past. The Rock is a very large human being in general, always has been, and just his presence and being the level that he's reached and his success. It's not going to be who is it. You got to be really. They're getting the rub being around him with that.
He was under some scrutiny with the stunt he pulled with Oprah, though. I do got to admit that
everybody's under scrutiny from everybody because everybody's fucking miserable. What is wrong with the guy? In like people, what were people upset with? Well, let's just look at it with common sense. People were upset at Rock with Oprah because they were asking other people to donate towards Maui, and they were mad that him and Oprah weren't giving them all their money. So do we think that Oprah and The Rock should single-handedly just give away their entire fortune to Maui, which I'm sure they both donated towards, just on common sense looking at this? But they are raising where if everybody gave $1, that could help significantly improve the situation. Why is that bad?
Well, I think it had to do with a lot of the issue. Like if you look at the optics of what really happened in Maui too, a lot of people are saying, DEW optics in play.
I'm not saying, but for whatever reason, however it happened, but regardless of, but I'll give you that. Hey, regardless. Okay. Okay. Just listen. Okay. So say that did happen. Say that you're completely right on that assessment. They're still just trying to get money for the families to help the people that were those people. Would you agree those people were affected, whether it was planned or not planned? Absolutely. So why is The Rock a bad guy for trying to help people over there to help right? If we just look at it from common sense, I'm not saying do we think Rock and Oprah were conspiring with people? Hey, I don't know. And hey, let's go ahead and let's just ruin all these people's lives. I don't know. With all that, I'm not in but at the end of the day, they're trying to raise money for the people, regardless of how the situation happened. And it's just, I think that we live in a day and age where most people are unhappy and everybody likes to bitch and moan and complain that no matter what you do, there's going to be a large group of people that are unhappy that merge together that try to then bring negative attention on whatever you're doing. And he brings positive and negative attention no matter what he does.
No, that makes sense. Do you feel that like what's your thoughts on Joe Rogan kind of calling out The Rock lately on his steroid use? Do you have any thoughts on that?
What's Rogan saying about The Rock's steroid use?
He basically called him the Liver King. Because he kind of, everyone's like, he actually has gone on his podcast a few times now there and kind of said, yeah, The Rock's definitely not natty, and it became a big, Twitter war there for a minute between Rogan and many people. But Rogan's been publicly calling out The Rock on.
Didn't The Rock go on Joe Rogan's podcast?
And if you look at his pictures from back big guy,
he did. So Matt, when The Rock went on Joe Rogan's podcast, did they discuss that?
No, he was talking to other people. Rogan did not discuss it with The Rock when I.
Well, then, yeah, I don't know what Rogan has said or not said, so then I would just leave that between them. It has nothing to do with
Who's
me.
the guy? More plates, more dates, or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
He was the guy. He was the guy that Rogan originally talked about it with.
That was a long time ago too. I think that was years ago, prior to Rock going on the show.
Yes.
So if Rogan has any issues with it, I would suspect Rogan would have discussed it.
The Libertine optics brought the whole subject into play, and then I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago, not long when Joe Rogan called The Rock out, and it was big news because everyone's making a big deal about it, like, oh, Joe Rogan called The Rock out on not being natural. And then,
well, then that's up to The Rock. That's up to them to discuss that. And I think, all I know is I'm pretty honest. I'm on TRT, HRT. I've been since 28. I can't control what other people, and I don't consider that abusing steroids or anything. But hey, if I ever decide to go back on them, I'll probably say exactly what I'm on. I don't know why other people don't or do. I'm not The Rock. I don't know with it. So
that's a respect thing, man. If someone's just gonna say like, "Hey, it's damn, I took it. What's up?" Blah blah blah. Because again, that old documentary. Even if you take the roids or anything, you're still not hitting the home runs. You're still not, putting up the work. It's the person itself. So, no, I do respect.
I think there's just levels to it. I think if you're in and again, I try to I just think being transparent. And I've always done that with people on that, and I don't. But not there's a lot of people that are famous that don't want to be transparent. Because it could bring, for whatever reason, with sponsorships or other companies, it could bring a negative attention. But if you're doing everything legally through a doctor and say you're taking more than just TRT, HRT, or whatever, and running different that's and if you're not a drug tested athlete, are they really, But a lot of people just don't want to be honest about that, and I don't know. Even if you are honest about it, you're going to still get negative scrutiny and whatnot, whether you are or not. No matter what I do, I post a workout video now. People tell me I look like a Greek god. I have others tell me that I've lost it. I'm washed. It doesn't matter what you fucking do. I have people tell me online that I'm small when I'm 290 pounds and look pretty much like I've always looked. I have other people tell me I've never looked better. It's just it's no matter what we do or what we say, there's going to be negative and positive attention on that. And I would say though, as far as The Rock though, I don't know what The Rock has done or hasn't done, and I know he works out really hard, and it would be up to him if he ever decides to make that decision to have that conversation if he wants. Maybe he doesn't want to, maybe he doesn't care. That's up to him, but it's not. I'm not getting caught up in that.
Yeah, some people tell me that I look exactly like Ryback. So,
and it's no doubt, Shawnee's the East Coast. I've heard the East Coast Ryback. I think is what I've heard. East Coast Ryback. I'm the West Coast. You're the East Coast Ryback. You're holding it down to the East Coast for me, Big Sausage.
I'm the Ryback before picture.
Bro, that would actually be a great Feed Me More Nutrition. I should just run and get a photo of me and you. We do a before and after.
Oh, that would be so funny.
That would be hilarious. Hey, that's something too, man. You start posting more workout thing. I love when you do talk about health and things to that nature, Ryback.
Thank you, buddy.
I just want to say, I am sorry about the attacks since you had your departure, because people don't understand how powerful media relations can be.
Yeah.
Like I said, I do whistleblowing things, and we witnessed the attacks that were happening on you over the years. How they were really going at you, man, and you've kept it real.
Thank you. And I think I'm going to keep winning at the end. It's unfortunate. A lot of people that have negative opinions of me have been brainwashed by the negative media that they've consumed, where they're not self-aware of to the point where they what they do is they write you off, and then they just they then can't reflect and have the self-awareness to go, hey, maybe I was misled or that, and they just know they have this negative interpretation or perception of you, which does a lot of damage to a lot of people on that. But I just hey, just keep going, keep pushing. But the biggest thing is the censorship and suppressing. When you do that, it makes it difficult for me to fight that battle, as you guys can see, where it limits things. But I've been successful on other platforms where they haven't been able to do that. So the truth, and it's going to keep coming out, and I just got to just hang in there, and it's all going to be good.
Are you wanting to get back into the ring, so to speak? Do some work.
At some point, we'll have to see what happens. I gotta have to get cleared from my shoulders. So it's.
Thank you so much, man, for coming on. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Matt. You have a good one, buddy.
Take care, guys.
Later, man.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. All right. Taking a look here at the chat real quick, Big Sausage.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I really kind of wanted to know what his. I would have liked a little know more about the Benoit situation. We could connect the dots on that.